All right, hello everyone. I'm Representative Joshua Giraldo. I'm happy to be here on behalf of the House of Representatives. I want to start by, of course, thanking our senators, our congressmen, Governor McKee, and Director Abedizian, and the RIPTA staff for initiating this pilot program in Central Falls. I personally am really excited for this initiative. Central Falls is, of course, the smallest city in Rhode Island, but it's also one of the most densely populated. So this pilot program has the ability to really make a tremendous impact. Additionally, we know that approximately 30% of Central Falls residents are considered to be below the poverty line, and many of them do not own vehicles. This incentive ensures that all people in Central Falls have a safe, reliable means of transportation regardless of their income. By giving people access to transportation, this pilot program will provide our residents more access to opportunities. They can more easily get to their jobs, to healthcare appointments, to go shopping for food, and other necessities, excuse me. And with the new train station coming, this is going to have a huge impact. As I close, I just really want to ask a quick question. Is there any way we can make this wonderful program retroactive, back to like 2005 when a certain student had to take the bus from Central Falls to Providence College for a few hours every day? Just asking for a friend. Just kidding. Thank you all, and thank you for being part of this wonderful opportunity. And now, to introduce my good friend, Senator Acosta.
Thank you all for being here. As you can see, there's a lot of people here to talk, so they asked me to be brief. I won't go through the roster of all the names, but the people before me and after are sure to cover them. So thank you all for being here as well. I want to offer a slightly different perspective on what we're celebrating today. And without being too presumptuous, I'd say that it's likely that most of the people in this room have not taken a bus out of necessity for a while, if ever. And the fact that we're here and that we're celebrating this actually makes me cautiously optimistic, because it means that the conversations that we're having are not just lip service now. They're starting to translate into public policy. I was born in the late 80s, and for most of my life, it's felt like Americans hate low-income and working-class people. They pay them lip service, but really they blame their condition on them. And in my very, very brief time in the General Assembly, I've started to see that we're having serious conversations and that we're proposing somewhat imperfect but solutions to some of these issues. And so last year, where we hadn't raised the Rhode Island Works, or what the old school folks would call welfare monthly payments, in over 10 years, we did that. And that was surprising, because most people don't know what it's like for a family of 3 to live off of $500-something and change a month. Most people don't know the stress of missing the bus and thinking that you're about to be late to work, so you might lose that job. Most people don't know the stress of having a child that doesn't have health insurance, that is sick, and not knowing what to do with that. And we now have an event where we have people across various levels of government, from the congressional delegation to our state executive to the General Assembly to the municipal government, all here talking about stuff that hasn't really impacted their lives in a long while, but willing to have the conversation, because that is what people need. Because there are people in CF who are living off that 500 and change a month. There are people in CF who ride the bus out of necessity. And there are people in CF whose kids right now don't have health insurance. And that's why we're having these conversations. And that's why today I'm cautiously optimistic. I wish we were celebrating the the removal of all charges across the state, but it's a pilot, right? So it's small, we're starting small, we keep thinking ambitious, we keep pushing the envelope. And so I'm grateful for all the work that everybody did here to make that happen. I'm cautiously optimistic about what's gonna happen in the future, and I thank y'all for your time today. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Greg Norden, the RIPTA Chief of Strategic Advancement. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out today and joining us to celebrate free buses in Central Falls. This is really exciting. I just want to start by acknowledging a few people in the room. I'd like to thank Senator Whitehouse and Senator Reed, Senator Reed, who's not here, as well as Congressman Cicilline and Langevin for all their continuing support to RIPTA. I would also like to thank Mayor Rivera for her support through this project and her partnership with her staff, and former Mayor James Diosa. And then I also wanted to go ahead and thank Governor McKee and Lieutenant Governor Matos for their continuing support. And also thank you to Rick for Rhode Island College for allowing us to use this wonderful space for this event. We have a great partnership with Rhode Island College that gives actually free bus fares to their students, so it's really kind of a nice bookend to have this event here today. We are incredibly excited to be able to offer this program, to offer free fares in Central Falls for 1 year as a pilot program. We've been using we have a new technology on our buses called Wave. If you've ridden our buses lately, you may know that paying your bus fare is a little different than it used to be. And Wave is allowing us to essentially think about transit in Central Falls a little differently than we have in the past, and that we can create a giant geo-fence around the city and say all the bus stops in this area are free for anybody who wants to ride our system. So if you're a Central Falls resident, great. If you have business in the city and you're just trying to get around and you're from out of town, you can still ride free here. So it's really exciting for us that we're getting to test this out. We think that this is actually the ideal city to test this out. Number one, it's geographically small. It's a pretty limited pilot. But most importantly, it has huge transit potential here. There's so many people that live in the city. It's one of the densest cities in the country. And so the idea that we're able to provide such a huge benefit with minimal amount or thinking about minimal investment with a huge benefit, it was a no-brainer for us. In early 2019, to prove this point, we actually increased service on Route 72. If you're familiar with that, it serves Dexter Street, goes down into Providence. We doubled the amount of service on that route in 2019, and when we doubled it, within a month, ridership increased 48%, which is unheard of for us. We're really excited to see that because it tells us that, you know what, if we're putting better transit out there, people will use it. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to continue the story of that pilot program, or that program through this pilot. This is also, it just fits into a broader narrative at a federal level, or at a national level. Right now, you're hearing about free fares all over the country. Our neighbors to the north in Boston are piloting free transit on 3 bus routes there. And this is just helping us get our feet into that water, looking at what are the impacts of this. And so we're gonna dig in deep over the next year, really trying to understand what does free fares do for our ridership. Does it increase ridership? Does it bring the benefit that everyone's hoping it will? And if it does, how do we expand it? We are one of 25 agencies that receive these funds nationwide. We're actually a pretty unique program. It's through a program from the Federal Transit Administration called Accelerating Innovative Mobility, and it's targeting using technology to make big changes in transportation. So we're really proud that we're able to do that. Our new WAVE system is integral in helping us get that done, and we're just really excited that we were one of those 25 agencies that were chosen. The program, some of the details of it, it's $300,000 in total, with $50,000 being contributed by the city. RIPTA's got another $11,000 in there, and then about $250,000 from the federal government to fund this program. With that, I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. If you haven't gotten a WAVE card, please do. And I'm going to turn it over to Mario Bueno from Progreso Latino. Thank you so much.
I guess I'm the last one. I don't know what to say because everyone has said it. But I represent Progreso Latino, community organization in Central Falls with the mission of especially helping Latinos and immigrants in the city. We're really appreciative of this program, and we hope that it will be a pilot that will be successful, so as other speakers have said, it can be duplicated in other cities such as Providence and Woonsocket. Transportation costs between 15 and 17% of a family's budget. That's significant. And the cost for riding RIPTA is up to $70 a month. So that means a lot for people here in the community. And we talked about workforce development, how important that is. Transportation is central to making it possible for people to work and to go to school and for other opportunities. So I'm looking forward to working with the city and with other players here to ensure that people take benefit from this program. Not only people who don't have cars benefit from RIPTA. It's also people that have cars. As folks have said, it's $4 a gallon for gasoline today. So it's a major cost, and it's as inflation has increased, owning a car is extremely expensive, even a used car. So for a lot of these folks that live here in this community, there is no choice. So we want to make sure that RIPTA continues doing its great work, that people have a safe place to move around. And I'd like to challenge our public officials here to also think about transportation across states, because a lot of our folks work in Attleboro and Massachusetts, and it's really difficult connecting. And we know from employers in our community and in other communities that transportation continues to be an issue in this state. So this is a priority, and I think this is a first step, and I'm looking forward to being part of the solution. Thank you.